I guess the only other combination would be like Sentry Colossus, but tanks and Vikings work very well together. The Marines, they help, but this kind of diverts a lot of resources away, because remember, he's on 3 racks. None of them have tech labs. These Marines are unupgraded. So yeah, 0-0, and they have the 45 health. They don't have the combat shield. They don't have the stim. Looks like these Vikings are gonna... most of them survive. Well, no, about half of them survive. And he is continuing to macro up now. See, and now he's getting this +1 for his Marines, but he doesn't have that many Marines. Even if he goes... okay, he has maybe 7 Marines right now. I think he'd be better suited off just to work on these factories. Or work on the factory units, the tanks, and I guess the Vikings as well. He is producing more Vikings, okay, and even getting another starport down. So, starport... second one, I don't know, it's kind of iffy. Tech lab would be okay, a reactor, I wouldn't blame him for getting another reactor. So these Marines will end up having +1, there's the eBay, yeah, +1 almost done. But he shouldn't be producing out of all these guys. If he is, he actually has the money to put down another racks and then put a tech lab on it and then research the upgrades there and then never use that racks again because he has so much money in the bank. Looks like he will take this 3rd expansion, or 3rd base. And he needs to be constantly producing those Vikings. These Broodlords are going to end up being a problem. A lot of Hydra's gonna die here, but he's gonna lose those tanks. They were pretty well positioned though. They took out a lot of, well, they did a lot of damage. And there we go. And now these Marines are gonna be pretty useful. I think I would have preferred seeing Thor's, but yeah, he's not exactly low on gas. And this macro, it's kind of annoying me. So he has tons of money in the bank. He has plenty of production facilities, and at this point, it's not terrible to queue up stuff. So I wouldn't care if he had, well, maybe not a queue full, but yeah, stuff like this, one training, one on the way, or one queued up after that, but. Yeah, even more stuff like, I wouldn't mind if this was at 3, maybe even 4 for the barracks. He's using these pretty actively. Again, he should have another one, maybe just to get that combat shield, to get that stim. So this Hellions going to do a good job. And if you're going to go with the Hellions, why not get the pre-igniter? You have plenty of money in the bank, so you want to use up that money as much as you can. And, you know, as long as it's actually being useful. And I think at this point it's starting to become evident that his upgrades are pretty much non-existent. He has 1-0, I think, on those, on the Marines. But the rest of his army is, 0-0 for these guys. He also has a lot of SCVs. 71 SCVs. At this point, stop making SCVs. So, if you're above 60, I think, in my opinion, if you are above 60 workers, you should not be building workers unless they're all stranded or something. Looks like these Vikings are gonna die. Able to get 1 Overlord. Maybe end up... nope, not a Broodlord. They would have been able to get the Broodlord if they had +1, +0. There we go. This money is getting quite a bit lower, so that's good. He does have a pretty impressive income. Wow. Yeah. Because this is oversaturated again. You want 1 page of SCVs at your maximum, maybe a few more. And this is mineral SCVs. This doesn't include the 6 SCVs you should have on gas. Well, workers, I should say, because that's applicable for all races. Alright, keeping up that Viking production. He does have a tech lab on the second starport, so he hasn't used this yet. And at this point, so medevacs, he does have a lot of Marines out here. they're unupgraded, so they're not going to be lasting long anyway. I don't see medevacs being too useful. They would be useful for drops, but he doesn't really have the air control that he really wants to be stable with drops. But medevacs, yeah, you can build them out of the reactor starport as well. So yeah, now getting some Banshees. Banshees are okay, but in general, in the early game, they're much more favorable. In the early or mid game, I should say. So that cloak, of course, being one of the best harassment tools in the game, and they do very solid damage. But against Hydras, they fail pretty hard. So Ravens would be okay. 1 or 2 Ravens would be nice, actually, to help get rid of these annoying burrowed roaches, and just having that point defense drone. Did they work on broodlings? You'd think they would, but I don't think they do. Okay, also the auto turret's okay. Hunter Seeker missile, kind of okay. Not. It used to be a lot better. It's okay. It's not great. BCs. Well, with this economy, even with this economy, it's going to be hard to get up a fleet of them. Yeah, he's at 194 supply, and almost half of that is SCVs. So this tank positioning, again, these guys are way too far back. If you're gonna put them this far back, you might as well just put them along this ridge. Maybe not, exactly on this ridge, but a little bit further back. So that way you will have some defense for your main. So that'll basically cut off a big portion of this area. Engagement gonna come down here. Not too interesting. These Marines all gonna die, I assume. Oh, why is he burrowing his hydras? Okay, whatever. My money's getting pretty high again. Understandable now. Okay, so he's maxed. Throw down 4 armories. Or, 2 armories, at least, please. Just something that you want to do. If you're maxed, there's 2 things you should be doing. Upgrading stuff, or attacking. Or actually, both are good. So, if you are maxed, there is nothing more that you can do, really. Because, you can't macro up, because, you're supply blocked, and there's no way to get unsupply blocked unless you lose units. So you should be attacking, or at the very least setting up some sort of contain, making sure that you know where his army is, try to kill it off. And I think Funkomatic actually said that he always felt that whenever he beat off an attack, whenever he fended off an attack, that he never felt that he could really counterattack, even though he knew his opponent's army wasn't very substantial. So, a lot of that is actually going to be because of these 103 SCVs. So, that's more than half your supply, even if it was half your supply. You don't want it to be... I mean, it's kind of outrageous when it's a third of your supply, but half is kind of crazy. This is good. Kiting those roaches, those hydras into tank range. This tank's a little bit farther back, or further back than it should be. But that's not a big deal. Just that single tank won't matter too much. Not this late in the game. And there we go. Viking's going to come in to try and counter the Corruptors there and the Broodlords. He should be producing a lot more Vikings, by the way. So, okay. Yeah, I guess plenty. He should be using these guys. These control groups, there we go. Those orbital commands all, well, 2 of them orbital commands, and 1 of them planetary fortress, all in the same control group. This is weird. So, he has got all of his production buildings in a single tab. That's, I don't know. I'm not used to that. Alright, he's got this tech lab up, but yeah, just get that combat shield, get that stim. Ugh, that's terrible. Alright. A page and a half of SCVs. I mean, not including that tank, but yeah, a page and a half of SCVs just sitting there idle. So if you have this many SCVs, it's just such a waste. These good guys could all be Marines. These guys could be, well, half of them. Well, no, wait. This could be, what is that? 24, 32, 36. This could be 12 tanks. This could be Vikings are 150. Yeah, this could be 12 Vikings-ish, roughly. not including that gas, but he has plenty of gas. But I'm just saying, this is a lot of supply to be wasting. Just sitting there. So you should be aggressively expanding over here. You can afford to lose all these. He can afford to lose all those SCVs. He's 3 pages of SCVs, 2 and almost half, 2 and a third, I guess. But still, that's what 57 SCVs. So yeah, just try and keep this in mind. Do not just continue building SCVs blindly when you are having trouble with your army size. Look at his army. It's very skimpy because half of his supply is being spent on SCVs. This is good. He has a nice Viking force. Gonna plant down, what is that, 6 factories? So, I just wanted to say here, I tend to prefer my production buildings all in separate tabs. Your barracks in one, your factory in one, your starport in one, and sometimes even, your barracks with a reactor in one, your barracks with tech labs in one, your factories with, just so that does take up 6 things, but I usually don't have factories with, both factories and barracks with reactors. And then again, those upgrades very, very low. 0, 0, and probably still 1, 0. Well, that's not going to tell me. Oh, here we go. Yeah, still 1, 0. There we go. Unfortunately, these guys were all transferred from this base. And he's leaving all these guys over there. So, and I mean, this is already oversaturated right here. Very barely, but still. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when you can get oversaturation from an SCV transfer. Those Marines coming in again. So, let's just kind of go over things. This isn't really too interesting. He's just going to lose his base a little, unfortunately. That planetary fort is coming in way too late. So, he's got a lot of factories right here. He's got about 25 supply left. He should be using that. He has more than enough production to fill that up really quickly. I would have just left these SCVs, to be completely honest. I would have just left them to the Zerg force. Instead, he's going to have all of them mining. Look at this. So,